first, what you need to do, I would say, before you do that, is you need to have some kind of cohesive posting of content on the pages, like your Facebook page, your Instagram page, and you need to have a decent website that people can navigate, find what you do, and get connected. Welcome back to Expandable.
Welcome. Good to see you.
So I'm going to try to make this as short as possible, just so it doesn't drone on. But the other day I was meeting with a client, small business, and there's a small budget, right? They don't have a lot of money to spend on all the things. And so I kind of went back to the drawing board and said, okay, how could this client, it's a small business owner, so they're wearing a lot of hats. They're willing to take on some of this if they can learn how to do a few things in the meantime before they can have enough money to hire other people.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, from a capacity standpoint, from a engagement impact standpoint in the market, what are the kind of simple things that I would prescribe that a business do? And so I wanted to kind of just walk through. It's funny because it has a little bit of modern marketing in it, but it's really traditional marketing, right? With digital tools or some digital tools.
Now, is this a physical product they're selling?
This is, so it's a local kayak paddle tour company.
Okay.
So they take, small groups of people out on Wekiva River, manatee tours, bioluminescence, that kind of stuff.
Got it.
And so she gets a lot of business historically through TripAdvisor and those big sites from tourists coming overseas, but she's really trying to build up her local business more so for the full margin, people booking directly with her, but also for repeat business. So that's where we're really focused. And I'll since you brought it up, I'll just say specifically kind of her demographic and some of that kind of stuff, because I think it'll give more context to how another business owner should be thinking. So first, out of the gate, I would say understand your target market. Like, who is that target that you're going after? For her, it's nurses. Because nurses, and you can see how this will play out pretty quickly. Nurses, teachers, first responders, they're people that go to work every day and give of themselves, and usually they're wired for it, and they're naturally they're caregivers. But it's kind of a thankless job. Like, there's not a lot of people giving back to them, not a lot of people like taking care of them. So it is easy for them to get burnt out. Her story as a founder is one that she was actually in AI development and tech, and she got burnt out, and she loved getting on the water and going kayaking. So she's like, why don't I just do this as a business because I love doing this, right? So she started this business, and now her story kind of matches the story of her audience where, hey, life happens, you get busy, you've got families, you got work and all this stuff, and you're giving to other people. Why not get on the water and just kind of relax and kind of get your peace back kind of thing. So that the connection of her brand story being that founder story and why she started the company and what she wants to do for people connects with the target audience she's going after.
So she's looking for consistency. So people, is it more of, hey, this is a weekly meetup and we're having consistency?
No, more of like, you like to go and do outdoor stuff with your family.
Yeah, we've done the bioluminescence. So yes.
Yeah. So like if you booked with her and you had a great time and you matched with her, what she's building, because ultimately like you could go to 5 different companies and they're all going to do a little different. Some have big tours, it's not personal. Some aren't really concerned with safety. There's all these things. When you do it, you're local and you had such a great experience, you're probably going to go back and use her again. It may not be for a year, or it may be 2 or 3 times a year when the weather's really nice, or whatever is your purview. That's what we're looking for, is someone who's going to repeat on a periodic basis. Now the goal here, and you'll see, is to get them on the newsletter, because if you can do a really good job on a newsletter, you stay in front of them, it reminds them that, hey, this is something you enjoyed before you can come back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So quickly, it could get really deep on this topic, but understand your audience, know who you're specifically going after, because when you write ads, when you create content, the messaging has to match the audience. All right. So I'm not going to say any more on that because we could go on a rabbit hole about that whole thing.
Now I know how my wife found our bioluminescence tour.
Okay.
And she happens to be a nurse.
Yeah.
But that had no, I don't think that didn't have any reasoning, but in general, so we did that, a year ago?
Yeah.
So the bioluminescence down by the Space Center.
Yeah.
And so Facebook.
Yep.
Facebook groups.
Yep.
You're looking and asking, you're tagged in that. And as you're looking around, it's easy to tag once you're into a Facebook group. And then as you look through the pages, you see who links back and forth.
That's right.
And that right there kind of, if you see consistency, then you see, who's typically going.
Yes.
Some may be partying areas and what is family oriented. And so,
you start to get the vibe or the culture of the company and, where you fit. I think that's a really outstanding add to this. I didn't have that on here specifically, but I agree that posting regularly, being involved in adding value to Facebook groups that are appropriate.
And there's so many kayak groups within each segmented community and within.
That's right.
So then you've got the groups dedicated to that town. Yeah. So, and then manatees around here. So manatee group. So those are the things that
all
I
the
would
conservation
attach to
stuff,
and be part of all those groups and be a contributor. Oh, I saw manatees this morning.
Yeah.
Or,
uploading pictures, tagging people, giving background information, historical data, all the stuff you can do because you have this information.
For each one of the pages, add your value. Oh, I happen to be this, and then people want to be
100%.
Yep.
I agree 100%. First, what you need to do, I would say before you do that, is you need to have some kind of cohesive posting of content on the pages, like your Facebook page, your Instagram page, and you need to have a decent website that people can navigate, find what you do, and get connected.
And to be very simple with that too,
because
you don't need many pages at all.
That's right. So whenever you have those sort of foundational pieces, that when someone lands there, it makes sense and they know what to do. And it's not all salesy, but there's some sales part of it, so they can book. But it's also branded, and it shows your tone and voice and message. Then you can start doing those other things, because you don't want to start doing all this activity that's going to drive traffic to your business. And then people come there and they're like, I don't even know if you're open or.
No, your simple web page can be 2 pages, but it needs to look exactly like your Facebook page and your Instagram too.
Mm-hmm. So I'd say that's my, once you have your audience kind of nailed down, the first thing is have branded content. So think about the content you're making, make it cohesive from post to post, and put that out on social. And then start an email newsletter, because ultimately you want to bring people back there and nurture that attention over time. Because if you're looking to have people have repeat business, this could be B2B or B2C, you need to be always adding good value to that specific audience in a way that retains them. Mm-hmm. So newsletters are part of it. And again, all of these we could get really deep on, so I'm going to try to just keep it surface. Then if you are a really small business, and this actually can play out in a slightly different way for a medium-sized company too, and you're the founder, you can create what they call founder-led content. And that's essentially daily, weekly content that you're creating that's of value to your audience. It's what it's doing is giving people depth to your brand. It's saying, you're a person connected to this brand and this story that I already kind of like. Now I really see a person, and I like it even more because I'm connected to a person. And the founder is generally the person that's going to need to be out front doing that, because it's hard to put that on another team member that might leave at some point and may not be fully aligned in how you want to be displayed. So that's something that it's a bigger lift. But for those people that are listening that have been thinking about doing this, you know who you are. You're already like, okay, I've made a couple videos. I feel comfortable with this. I think I can do this. That's a huge deal for connection in marketing, is founder-led stories. And what I mean is just put a list of what are all the stories that I want to tell that are valuable to my target audience. What are a lot of video shots? They call it a shot list. What are all the shots that I could take, clips for her? It's GoPro going down into the water, showing the side of the kayak, showing, wildlife and these different things, right? So then when you have all that footage, you could just take a day and, or day or 2 days, go out in your business and, film your factory floor, film your office, film different things that are appropriate for the story you're trying to tell. You have all those clips. Now you can easily clip those together, and you could literally just put one clip on your story on Instagram and do a voiceover on it, and it'd be impactful. It doesn't have to be some big production.
Yeah. And to save money, I mean, if now we're talking, they're looking to do it themselves, or they're hiring, that you can use it all on your phone and edit it. And
it's all right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're posting on Facebook personally or Instagram personally, you can do this. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying a lot of this is for, it could be small to mid-size, but it's really just for the person who's like, I know we should be doing more. I want to start doing one extra new thing that would be impactful and drive some attention, engagement, or even sales. And you're willing to learn a little bit of a skill to do it just to get it going. And when you see it has traction, then hire someone, backfill it.
Yeah.
I mean, the founder-led content may not be something you can hand off. But that's kind of the idea for a lot of these, is that you would start it yourself, low budget. For her specifically, I think once you do a lot of these things, you have some of these foundational pieces in, then you can start focusing on a broader reach. And if you're looking at, attracting nurses or people like that, what's worked historically that I've seen on businesses like this and audiences like that are giveaways on social, where you can get your audience engaged around some fun thing that they want to do or want to be involved in. So this will be giving away a kayak or a paddle, PFD or something, and making it fun and getting people engaged so that they're tagging people. This would be more of a top of funnel awareness type of campaign, where you're really just trying to get eyeballs to your Instagram account, get new followers.
But to me, it sounds like if you're going after a core group of nurses for your kayak, then you're going to be very regionalized and centralized to where the nurses work at. There's only so many hospitals in the area.
Yeah,
so there'd be three main hospitals in the area that you
and then all of the
attract,
private practices that have.
I would think you would have to have like a consistent time, twice a week, because they're going to do 12-hour shifts, and each week's going to be different. They can't hit the same Monday.
That's right.
Week after week. They can hit a Monday and a Tuesday, or so having those dedicated maybe time slots for the nurses and
I was actually talking to Tim about this on Slack. Tim Parkin is a great marketing consultant, friends of ours, and he had a nuance to that I thought was great. He's really good at the details in that. If you're going to do that, give the nurses the ability to nominate people, and especially if you look at if you say focus on nurses, you could focus on teachers. This works really well. Teachers kind of get the shaft in a lot of ways. Get them to nominate their friends. And as they're doing, if you do it in that way, it really gets them to promote your business for you. So that's a little.
When the bioluminescent assets, the ones getting off their shift at midnight,
Yep.
Or the 7 p.m. shift.
That's right.
Have them then go to.
Yeah, you're already awake.
Yep.
Grab a cup of coffee and come out. That's funny. My daughter the other day said, I was tired or whatever. It was at night, and she's like, "Why don't you get you some coffee?" I was like, "Do you understand how coffee works?" I'll be up literally all night and part of next day.
I used to drink caffeine at night and be fine, but not anymore.
No, if it's past 12, I'm done. I'm
getting
old.
With the limited budget with that, it's very simple to film, have consistency on those platforms.
Yeah.
But then, just start talking in the forums. They're going to come across there.
The forums and groups is a huge deal, honestly, because that's where people live. They live on their phones. You're right. I'd say I've got two other ideas to add here. One is something that if you learn a little bit of this skill, you don't have to do it forever because you can hire someone to help you with it later, but PR, right? So learning what publications are in your area, what journalists are writing about what do they care about, get in contact with them and reach out, especially as an owner or founder of a company reaching out directly. They're going to be more receptive to talking to you versus it being another rep or something. And, in this case, it's a founder story plus giving back to those who give kind of narrative. So there's always a place for that in the news cycle. Yeah. And so doing a little bit, open a spreadsheet. What are the publications? What are the journalists' contact information? What are the narratives? Start putting that together. And if you were to do that maybe one a week, after about 10, 12 weeks, you're going to have a pretty good repertoire of content that you could send and connections you've made, and you're liable to at least get placed one or two of those.
Yeah.
And that really does, for a small business, it gives a lot of exposure. So I'd say that's one that obviously there's experts that do that really well, and they know all the journalists, they know all the stuff. But to get started, you could put that hat on for a little while.
And if they're looking to fill their time in the beginning, there's a lot of time slots that you can take people out too, and have tours kayaking. There may be other to fill that void other than just nurses. So you may
That's right.
you know, you need to look at the coffee shops where people are. I mean, obviously tourists. Your summertime.
Yeah.
You know where tourists.
All the honey holes.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be out. Breakfast places. They're going to be out and about. They're going to be near the water. So having cards and having things.
Yeah.
You know, on referral basis.
The last one I had on here was just running ads on Meta, Facebook and Instagram, especially for this company, because everyone's on those two platforms. That's in her audience, targeting that, you know, nurses specifically or medical staff, with the message of sort of get out on the water, you know, kind of, you know, we're with teachers is a good example. It's probably the best because we're about to go back to school. So I heard from a teacher just the other day said, all the parents are excited because they're about to drop their kids back off of school, but we're saying, where'd our summer go? So, you know, that's real. Like you hear that all the time. So using that message, that's real message to that audience is going to work so much more than a canned thing that you might use. So just running a simple, you know, you could even just boost some posts that you've already made, going back up the list. If you created some content you like, just boost that for $20 to a certain area, start there. But I think it's a good idea. In this case, what I'm recommending is that she hire someone to set that whole account up, because having all your analytics and your tracking all set up properly is very important.
Yes, having it all linked.
Yeah,
there's many little nuances that you can save yourself a lot of time and effort.
That's right. Yeah, having an expert set it all up and then teach you how to kind of run a few things.
You can manage it after that very
You could
quickly.
manage some stuff for a little while. Eventually, you're going to want to give it back over to an expert once it starts to produce, because it's not something you really should be running as an owner. But, you know, every owner that starts a business has a different sort of proclivity, right? One might be like, oh, I'll pick up a camera and talk to a camera. I'm fine with that, but I hate numbers. One might be like, oh, I love metrics and numbers and data, so I'm perfect with running ads. So
in this day and age, you can get people, you can outsource it. It's not a full-time employee either.
No, not at all. And that's the one I actually suggested here is a kind of startup freelancer ads person who's done really well working for a company, and now she's kind of on her own. So yeah, for sure. Let's see. I think that's my list. You know, not that you have to do all of these things, but I think understanding how all these pieces and parts work together, which ones you can work on consistently over time. You can work on building content up, making things look right. You got that in place. You don't only need a ton of content, just so it looks good, right? A simple website that converts and does the thing, simple social pages that look like each other, and then start working on these other things that give you more exposure. One of the things I didn't have on here, but one I will mention, I've been talking with her about for some time, but it's a hard ride on the consumer side. It's looking at the partnership side. It's more of a B2B side where you're like, let's go to like schools. Like there's a lot of homeschool co-ops. There's a lot of small private schools, a lot of things like that, who they would want to get their kids out for a field trip. Partnerships. So now if you get in with like 4 or 5 schools, let's say over the Central Florida area, and they do this as a, you know, when I grew up, I don't know if you did this because the different counties, but we'd go to the environmental center and do the mud walk. And it's like you walked in the mud up to here. And I think they still do it, but it's sort of more safe now. You know, every year, the Environmental Center, I think that's probably nonprofit, but anyways, it's every year these groups come to it's built in.
But you've got the Girl Scouts, you've got the Boy Scouts.
There are
a lot of groups.
So many things, yeah. So partnerships is a really good thing, because even if you don't sell through a partnership and it doesn't land, you've got more exposure to people who are still customers.
Correct. And kayaking one of those things, you know, people don't know how much they like it until they do it. So it really spurs getting out that groups, getting people out there that normally wouldn't.
In fact, that is a big piece. Like we have these pillar topics that we'll hit on when we create content. And one of those is the fear of, well, you know, I get out there and there's alligators and all this stuff. It's like, just come out and try it. And, you know, testimonial after testimonial has said, like, I was fearful, but then when I got out there, I realized like, oh, I can do this. And it's not as, you know, it's not as daunting, and it's a small group. I feel very safe, and what we're doing is very safe. So you're right on the money. Yeah. Okay. On to the next one.